Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Domestic Boyfriends podcast. My name is Dean, and always with me is my beautiful co-host, Vincent.
We're back!
We're back for who knows how long, but we are bringing the fire because Vincent still hasn't seen Fantastic Four, so we're talking about this one instead. Honestly, probably a better movie in my opinion, but we'll get to that later. Today we are talking about the newly released 2025 version of Superman, directed by James Gunn, written by James Gunn, produced by James Gunn. Mr. Gunn was in everything. Mr. James Gunn is...
Except for the movie.
Yes. Yeah, which was kind of surprising.
But don't worry, Michael Rooker and his brother were still in it. As always, with every James Gunn film.
James Gunn, as you know, we know him pretty well due to the fact that he directed a lot of the... He directed, what, 2 Guardians movies? 1 Guardians movie? He's done Marvel
Was
stuff.
it all 3?
Taika Waititi did the 1, didn't he? Gunn did the 4th.
There's only 3.
No. Thor, Dark World, Ragnarok, Love and Thunder. That's 4.
Those are Thor movies.
That's what I said, Thor.
Oh, I thought you said 4.
No, no. He directed.
That's fantastic.
No, but he directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Is what he did.
Yeah, he.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oof. Okay. Anyway, and you know we had some. I had some opinions about this, but before we get into it, I guess we can do like a spoiler-free synopsis. It's about Superman. It's
And him saving the day.
Yeah, the Man of Steel saving the day. That's pretty much every Superman film, but can't really.
Lex Luthor really hates him. Because
Yep.
he's an immigrant that's undocumented.
Indeed, he hates that he is better than a human being.
A self-made man.
Yeah. He's not even a self-made man. Luthor Corp is okay. I'm not getting into it. So this is Gunn's new universe. This is the new DCU, not the DCEU, not the DCAU. It is brand new DC by James Gunn. The whole project that he's been spearheading, and this is his first movie. This is his first baby, and yeah, we are excited to see more. If we had to, we're gonna stick to our regular rating scale. We're gonna do it spoiler free. Vincent, if you had to rewatch this movie any amount of times, how many times would you rewatch it?
I'd give this, at a minimum, another 5 times this year.
I wanted to rewatch this
Immediately?
at least 3 other times. 1 in a better theater, 2 with more people, and 3 just because. So
Yeah. I saw this in IMAX.
I saw this
And
on a
holy
Tuesday,
crap.
almost a month later.
Oh god. I have not seen a movie in IMAX in a very long time. I forgot how much like the glasses end up like really making your face like oddly sore after you get done watching a movie. But man, it was worth it. This movie was fantastic to see in that kind of setting.
I agree that this movie was fantastic. I really loved it. But if we recommend, if you're gonna you're listening to the first like 4 minutes of the podcast, if you haven't watched it, we recommend you go watch it now. But if you're gonna continue listening, there will be spoilers ahead. We give you a nice 1, 2, 3. You're good for spoilers now. This movie gives me so much hope, and we talked about this before, but I am just super hopeful for the DCU Um, Even without taking in, we can talk about like the end with like comparing DCU and MCU with their current stage.
Yeah.
But I kept saying, like I said it to you, I said it to a couple of our other friends. I am James Gunn it out. Like I think his style is good, but I just feel like when it comes to superhero stuff, it's the one type of movie I was not feeling. But this completely 180 to me. I trust him wholeheartedly with the progress for this. Um,
It's
just so good.
interesting that you like bring that up with like the whole like Superman or not Superman superhero out with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said in an interview about this either like it was either before or after the movie had come out. And I completely get where he's coming from on it. This is his first actual superhero movie,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Guardians were space operas.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Squad was the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That's not superheroes. This is the first real one.
Yeah.
And
But
man,
he
it
started out
feels like a
strong.
classic superhero movie.
No, he started out strong. So he's the co. So now he is the co-CEO of the DC Studios, and with this movie, he is building out more. And let's just get into it. The introduction, the intro. We saw it in the trailer. We saw it in one of the trailers. Um, but what a way to start out. At first when someone said that there was going to be like some text in the beginning, I didn't think I'd like it, but the beginning felt so like Superman Returns, like old school with the introduction and
Mhm.
the music. It just like made me feel nostalgic for Superman, which I don't that doesn't happen very often for me. Boy in Blue isn't like my top hero. Like he's not even probably within like my top 10 favorite superheroes. So, um, I really enjoyed it. How did you feel about seeing Superman at his lowest point in the first 5 minutes?
Awesome, great. I love seeing him like get beat into shit. Um, it well, it's not a normal thing for him to deal with that, right?
Yes, very
Um,
true.
and we literally get to see him deal with his first real defeat
The hammer of
in this.
the hammer of Latvia. What was the name again? I keep wanting to say
Uh,
Latvia. The hammer of who the hell? The
Baravia.
hammer of
Baravia.
Baravia. There we go.
Yeah. No, the Hammer of Bravia. Hammer of Bravia is awesome. I love the suit. He he looked like a uh he looked like a mixture of like um the uh the Juggernaut and then the weird like warrior slash nurse alien race from Doctor Who
The ones that look like eggs.
yeah.
The egg people? Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, when they have their helmets on, like it's exactly the
Yes.
Hammer of
I know what you're
Baravia.
I I know what you're
So yeah, you just take them and then put the Juggernaut's color pattern on there.
Oh my goodness.
um,
How did you feel about being in it? Well, we can poke around some different topics, but how
yeah.
did you feel about the background story that was kind of being told with the the Civil War and the invasion of Baravia into because it was what Baravia was invading.
Oh,
Oh man, didn't pay attention on this plot. Um, but it was Baravia with the influence of Lex Luthor. Um,
uh, Jaranpur, Jarhanpur,
yes,
Jarhanpur.
Jahanpur. Um,
Um, I liked it. I thought it was really well done. Normally like with like those like small side plots and like previous movies and whatnot, it's been pretty easy to like sniff out what's going on. I didn't really put two and two together until they actually like spelled it out for me properly.
Mm-hmm. Um,
And then when they did, I was like, oh my god, no way.
these are, we started off with this part. It's funny because we both dealt with it a little bit when we were. I just clicked on something on Google and it's gonna show. You can hear it in the pod. If you look up Superman, there's like there's a paw print you can press and it's crypto. So if you hear that, sorry. But the political undertones of this movie were so loud and people hated it. And not to get political on the podcast, I think that is very funny because superheroes have always been political. I know people don't like to hear it, but they are always an idealistic representation of whatever the writer wants to make it. But ironic, given that it is Superman, the illegal immigrant that tries to save human lives regardless of whoever it is, that people are getting mad about. But that's nor here nor there. We're not here to get political. But how did you feel about the war that had happened, or that was happening? Towards the end, we're helped out by a specific team. I kind of want to talk about the cast that we had here because we had a great cast. The Justice Gang. Let's talk about them for a minute. We got So I'm gonna leave him for last because I know you really want to talk about him. But Eddie Gathegi was Mr. Terrific. How did you feel about him, and how did you feel about him being redeemed in the DCU?
Mr. Terrific might have been my favorite character in the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't expect like anything really too much from him because I didn't really know that much about the character. I still like I have seen him here and there in the comics, I'm sure. Like there's no way like he for sure showed up in like for sure showed up in like Blackest Night, Brightest Day and whatnot, but like or like other like big let's get everyone in here kind of scenarios. I don't know how new of a character Mr. Terrific is like from a comic book standpoint.
Mr. Terrific was originally
I think he's been around for a while, right?
Yes, Mr. Terrific was originally introduced in 1997. First appearing in
Okay.
Spectre Volume 3, Issue 54. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought he was great. Every time that he was on screen, it made me happy. And also like touching on that whole thing that I just said about like not knowing who he was, that might be one of my favorite parts about this movie as a whole, which is that it just trusted the fan base to like either know who's in this without us having to without having to do the Spider-Verse thing of all right, let's do this one more time. My name's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I was the world's only Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know? We never had that. We never had that once, which is great. And I when I was in the theater, I literally had people around me like lean over to their partners who like dragged them to the movie and be like, "Who is that?" One of my favorites was like with Hot Girl in particular. Later on in the movie, she does her scream, right? Which I didn't expect them to like bring in. She just starts screaming, which is awesome. I love it. And but right before she did that, like this lady near me, like leaned over to her partner and went, "So is that Pearl girl?" And then she starts screaming, and then the girl starts screaming in the theater because she got scared by it.
That's great.
But Mr. Terrific was awesome. Um,
Eddie finally got
the T
redeemed.
spheres are sweet as hell. He needs to get a new garage door.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Um, Lois commandeered his fucking plane or his fucking ship. Um,
Lois
now,
was properly a badass in this movie, which
yes,
is what Lois Lane should be.
yeah. So I thought Eddie did good. It's nice to see. Last time he was in a superhero thing was when he was in X-Men First Class and he was Darwin. I think a lot of people have probably already talked about this, but he kind of got the shit end of the stick when it came to superhero roles. They literally used him as a death, like literally just to show off how strong the villain was, which
Yeah.
sucked. Um, how did you feel about Hawk Girl? Um,
Oh,
yeah,
Isabella. She
yeah.
did so good. She was so perfectly sassy for Hot Girl. I it was it was I have we seen a live action adaptation of her? I skipped
No,
almost the
we
entirety of the previous cinematic universe for DC.
we have not seen anything of a Hawk Girl since DC released Justice League. No. Justice League, the DC animated universe. So like
Okay,
the gods and not gods and monsters. Like dark, like Apocalypse War and
sure.
stuff like that, and technically from Young Justice, but they weren't really like a big part of it. I wish that we saw more. Like I want there. I need there to be like not a big
I love
Justice
the
League,
Hawks.
not like a big Justice League movie, but I need there to be like something like revolving around the Justice League or the Justice Gang in its current form, just so we can see more of everybody. Because I feel like we got a we got a tease of her in this movie,
I
but
want more.
we didn't get
I want so
we
much
didn't
more.
get anything, in my opinion, enough to really satisfy people who are fans of Hot Girl, Shira or Carter, um, with this. But I know when it comes to the Justice Gang, we'll talk about its last member when we were first introduced to them. Uh, Possibly the most talked about part of this entire movie, besides Superman before it was released, was Guy Gardner, played by no one other than Nathan Fillion, someone who's been in many James Gunn's works. How was Guy? How did you feel about Guy? How was that guy?
Look, right. I have a huge soft spot in my heart when it comes to Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite characters of all time. One of my favorite like groups. And probably one of the characters, or well, groupings of characters that I have like read the most, well, consumed the most content about.
Mm-hmm.
I also am from Ann Arbor, Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
home of the U of M.
Doxing yourself.
That's fine. Guy Gardner went to the U of M. He played football for the U of M.
Yes.
That is that is a guy who spent time in Michigan for sure. He treated me like shit. He was great. He's perfect. What a great great portrayal of Guy Gardner. When he starts using constructs at the end, just summoning middle fingers from the ground to knock over tanks and soldiers. Oh my god.
I
Incredible.
we both have we share a favorite lantern, and it's not Guy, but I
No.
do have to say Nathan Fillion's portrayal of him. This is I brought this up to somebody. This is like his second or third, possibly. I think it's his third portrayal of a character that has a either police that's either a policeman or like has some like law or authority background, um, which is just which that's fine. People have a type, but I just think it's so funny because like in contrast, like Firefly, when he is literally a fucking bandit. Um, but I thought he was great. I thought everything that he said felt right. When we initially got some of the teaser spotlights for the scene and like when they after Luthor leaks the audio and everything and they go in and he uses his ring to like give them privacy. I always thought that the line delivery, like out of context, felt weird, but in the moment of watching the movie, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing! I really like what's happening." And I think it's so funny that we get Guy now because if the universe is connected, I like if everything is in chronological order, right? Where it is Hal, John, Guy, Kyle, right?
Mhm.
Presumably Kyle isn't in Lantern yet, but we do know for a fact because of James Gunn announced the buddy cop uh, show that's going to be Hal and John that they exist in the universe, right? They're probably out in a like exploring a different sector or doing something for the Guardians, and that's why Guy is on Earth, protecting his sector. Um, but the fact that we chose Guy Gardner out of all of the lanterns uh, is hilarious to me because if you guys aren't familiar with Guy Gardner, there's a big running joke that he's like the ass end of the Green Lantern Corps. But if you ever look deeper into his character, it's so good. Like he's complex. He's had turmoil between different characters that like Hal Jordan and John, and like at times have he has been the beacon of hope for the Corps because of the way that he tackles things. Like he is very much headstrong when he is tackling a situation. He's putting his 100% into it, and like there almost every piece of media will exemplify this. That Guy is for the Corps 100%. Um, so to see this brought to live action gives me a smile. I do have to say though, my favorite part of this movie is when Lois Lane says that his haircut is stupid because she gets mad. Because he has the bowl cut. They gave Nathan Fillion a bowl cut. James Gunn even said that he did this to torture his best friend. Isn't that crazy? Um, Before we move on to like the main cast, how did you feel about Maxwell Lord even appearing and like the what that means for
Dude,
the
I
future?
freaked out. It's so cool. I didn't expect it to be Sean Gunn of all
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
but like what a great cameo. And like it is a blink and you miss it kind of thing too.
yeah. Because it's towards
Um
the end.
but like that's a great way to set up stuff too. And again, just kind of trusting
Yeah,
people to just like kind of know.
yeah. Because even in the movie, they don't really delve into like the Justice Gang being funded by Maxwell Lord and Lord Industries and stuff like that. It's just something that like you learn about or we'll probably learn more about it in different movies. Um, but I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Frank Grillo is still he I they kept him in the universe because technically like he was wasn't he was in the Suicide Squad, wasn't he?
Um
Because he's because he's Rick Flag's
Yeah,
son. Yeah,
yeah,
because he was
yeah,
Flag before, right? He's in Peacemaker.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I think he did good. We didn't see a whole bunch about him. Kind of weird that he is military guy in both the MCU and the DCU, but Crossbones is dead, so we're good. Um, Perry White. How did you feel about Wendell Pierce's Perry White? For what we saw of it.
He did really good. Um, I maybe it's because like the most recent time that like I had dealt with Wendell Pierce in something, it was like in the past year when I like watched through the entirety of Suits.
Oh.
But like I just kept seeing him as Mr. Zane.
Yes.
The whole time I'm like, why is there a lawyer here? But then again I was like, oh well, it makes sense. Um, but he did great. That is the kind of attitude that you would expect, that you would hope to expect out of like a comic book version of a like editor in chief for the top newspaper in New York City.
That doesn't hate Spider-Man.
Well, New York,
Metropolis.
whatever. It's the same city.
And then the last person, Jimmy. Jimmy Olsen. How did you feel about this rendition? It's not the traditional ginger nerd that has confidence issues. This Jimmy is a player. Jimmy got game. How did you feel about this rendition of Jimmy Olsen?
I honestly don't know about this one.
Breath.
Like I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's a great character and it's a good like rendition, but like is very different.
Mm-hmm.
But this version is definitely way more resourceful than, and like easily so resourceful than what we had seen with like with our normal bumbling boy hero.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I thought he was cool. I thought it was interesting that he became like, if it wasn't for him, most like the plot wouldn't have went forward.
Yeah.
In most regards, because sometimes Jimmy's just sidelined. Jimmy actually felt like a main character in this movie, which I can really appreciate. How did you feel about Metamorpho? Felt like a random pull, but in the context of the movie, I thought he was great.
Yeah, I really didn't expect to see him
Mm-hmm.
at all. I don't have that much like experience with Metamorpho as a character.
Metamorpho.
Right.
If anybody needs or wants a great jumping on point with learning both Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific's, and also Plastic Man's character, there was a time in DC where I think it got canceled, but there was a comic book series called The Terrifics, and it was essentially they gained a fourth person that was a girl, and it was essentially DC's attempt at making a Fantastic Four like team, and it worked out so well, with the way that they tackled it, because Mr. Terrific is like not cold and calculated, but he's calculated and very straightforward. Plastic Man is Plastic Man, and Metamorpho is a little more complex because he does crack jokes here and there, but he's also a very serious person because of like his family and like how like people use him and like his troubled past of being like a villain. And you mesh that together going forward with them tackling problems and it makes this dynamic that is more of like if the Fantastic Four were slapstick characters, but you gave them, you still have, you like they still had their intelligence. Um, it's just if you need a jumping on point, and you want to learn more about them. I advise to read the Terrifics, the DC comic. Um,
Every time that we had Metamorpho on screen, it felt like James Gunn took the skeleton that he used to like write Drax and then just gave him depression.
yes, no, he definitely did, and superpowers, depression and
Yeah,
superpowers. Um, but I am hopeful
worked
because
out
I am
pretty
hope
well.
I'm hopeful for him because, as we know, he is now a member of the Justice Gang. So
What a cool name!
he told Guy it was a cool name, and Guy was just like, "Fuck."
You're in.
That means that if I get another guy, that means that we're gonna be tied for the name, 50-50, at least at the minimum. Um, I thought it was good. He was kind of like a Chekhov's gun, like, or his kid was, right?
Mhm.
Like, oh, they're keeping him here because they have his kid. Um, so, I thought it was interesting. I think it was interesting how they used his powers. How, like, they had him create a son for Superman in the pocket dimension. I don't know if Metamorpho can technically do that because technically his power set is just manipulation of, like, matter, gases, like matter and gases, right? So like he can make himself like gaseous, like how he did in the movie. He can make himself into different materials. He's pretty much like if the periodic table had a physical form, like he can just make whatever, right? Um,
Yeah,
very similar to like
the Firestorm.
yes, except Firestorm looks cool and he can use the Firestorm Matrix and just kind of like equivalent exchange things. This guy literally just takes like the material that his body is made out of and just changes the chemical compounds of it. So,
His design has like always like kind of weirded me out because it has never registered in my head, and I know we have like a bunch of like weird character designs. Like I said before, I love Green Lantern. We have a sentient diamond as a Green Lantern. That's a weird character design.
yes,
But like
and a squirrel.
something about like maybe it's just like the weird combination of like colors and then swirls on him. He always like registered to me for some reason as a character that like Floop from Spy Kids 1 made.
Mm-hmm.
And then just slammed it into the DC universe. I like every
So,
time I see him, I'm expecting like an army of thumbs to start appearing too.
so this is what his design was in Young Justice.
That looks so good.
This is when this is him when he's like a hero and like he's in Batman, like Batman recruits him into the Justice League. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have an ugly form because this is him 5 minutes
Whoa!
that is him fighting, that is him 5 minutes after fighting Deathstroke. And Deathstroke like starts to fuck him up and so that first design that he has is more of like he holds it together himself, like
Mhm.
it's not something that like he naturally stays in, unlike the second form, which is more akin to like how we traditionally see him.
Yeah.
So he has to like mentally keep up that design of himself. But it keeps all of his like primary colors that he has, which is really cool. So, I really enjoy Metamorpho.
What did you think
Of
of Crypto? How excited were you for him to be in the movie?
I really enjoyed. We both have dogs. We both are dog people. Crypto was such a outlier. I didn't think it was going to be important, right? Which, like, in the grand scheme of things, he technically wasn't. He did give us a really cool scene where Superman got mad at Lex for kidnapping the dog.
Mhm.
What was the line again? He was sipping his coffee.
Where's the dog?
He's like, where's the dog? And he's just like, I don't know, stupid dog, or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but Crypto was super fun, right? It's they mocapped Gun's dog. I thought that was super cute. And a way to use resources, I guess, because it's his own dog. Um, I thought it was cool that it's not. It never makes a lot of sense to me when Crypto comes with, like, because he's always like he was one of those like random add-ons to Superman lore, like
Yeah.
like his cousin is one thing, right? Because it's always explained that Lara, um, kind of, or not Lara, Kara kind of, she got stuck orbiting like a sun, and that's why she's stronger. But she's biologically younger than Clark, but chronologically is older than him.
Mhm.
So I thought the addition of Crypto and it just being her dog makes more sense. Um, and I really liked him. Him chasing super squirrels in his mind was really funny. Um, and him, oh, I hated when the fortress got invaded and he got beat up. I wanted to
Oh my
jump through the
god, dude.
screen.
It
Um,
hurt, man.
but Crypto's a good boy, and I thought he was a very welcome addition. I hope we see him in the future. I hope he pees on Batman. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed him. We didn't see a lot of Supergirl. I guess we can briefly talk about her. We didn't see a lot of Supergirl. She was at the end, and apparently she parties. There's gonna be more to Supergirl. He's making it. There's a Supergirl project out there, that James Gunn's working on. So I hope that it's very good, um, and hopefully it works out well. Sorry if you can hear my dog. She's being a meanie pants right now.
You're talking
Um,
about another dog.
yeah, apparently. But let's get to the top three. Um, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I did not like this casting in the beginning, but she is my favorite Lois Lane. She is amazing. Her relationship with Clark felt very good. It felt
Organic.
natural. Um, and I don't know. She looks like she looks like Lois. That's like a big thing with these superhero castings is like, do they actually look like them? Um, I felt like we've talked about this before, or at least Aaron has brought this up before. This movie felt like an episode of the animated series.
Yep.
This felt like this felt like Lois from the animated series.
Oh my god.
She felt like Lois Lane. Her
Yeah.
attitude, her outgoingness. This felt great casting. I hope we see more of her. I hope she's not just stuck to the Superman stuff. It would be fun to see her. I hope Gunn has a plan for a what is it, dynamic duo, like a 2-in-1.
Mhm.
What's it called when Batman and Superman team up together? World's Finest. I hope we get a World's Finest
Yeah.
movie or series, and it's Cornswick and whoever he plays as Batman, and it's Rachel and whoever it is Catwoman, or like just them doing stuff. I really enjoyed her performance as Lois Lane. The interview that they did towards the
Oh,
beginning, that was great because it felt, kind of like speaking back on like some of the non-wanted political commentary that some people like had. It felt so great because that really was the two sides of the same coin, uh, type of argument. Um, because all she was just hitting Superman with like all of the stuff that he was going to hear, trying to be like real about it, and also like trying to keep their relationship in check. And Cornswick has like the most natural, our corn's wet. He has the most natural reactions as Superman, and it's just like, what do you mean? But we'll get more into that with his. But I thought she was great. Yeah, I have nothing more to say.
Yeah, no, she did fantastic. She was great. I honestly hope that the direction that they take her, because it's definitely a direction that they've potentially set up for her, is that she could be like a go-between of like everyone in the Justice Gang and whatnot. Because she's now set up a repertoire with the founding members, right?
Yes.
And like, I could totally see her being like, at this point, kind of being this like representative of just like actual normal humanity that they keep around too.
Because a lot of them are so detached. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
I could
and then that could also
that.
set up like a pretty like interesting dynamic of like her being like, no, this is important for me to stay involved in this, and wanting to stay involved, and then fucking Clark wanting to like keep her away from it, because the more she gets in line with that, the more danger she's getting put into.
Yes. Yeah. No. I definitely believe that. Holt. How did you feel about this Lex?
All right, I've got a lot of feelings and opinions about this Lex Luthor.
Okay. Yes.
Firstly,
Okay.
and this is mostly just something that I found very funny. Like the whole like 1A thing is fantastic. It's super smart. This is for sure like Lex Luthor through and through for that. After I came out of the theater and like a day had passed, I forgot what it was that he kept chanting. And at one point I got it reversed in my head, and then like I went to bed and woke up the next day and like was trying to think about the movie again. I was like, was it on purpose or a mistake that he kept chanting about a steak sauce? I kept thinking it was A1, like A1 the whole time. But
that's funny.
I adore this Lex. This is my perfect Lex Luthor, right? My favorite Lex Luthor, and the one that I always think back to, is Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor from Justice League Unlimited and Superman the Animated Series, right?
Yes.
He is just so iconic of a role. The design of Lex is very, very specific. And I was a little nervous going into it how I was going to feel about not saying Nicholas Hoult is like not in good shape, because he's in great shape. But the Lex Luthor that we've been used to is this like Adonis.
Yes, the pinnacle of humanity.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because
his skinniness did not detract and did not like cause any issues for me, which I am very happy about. It did not terrify me to see him bald like it did seeing Jesse Eisenberg bald. That's that actor, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I have the only, again, I did not watch the DC Cinematic Universe. The only thing from the DC Cinematic Universe that I watched, I'm pretty sure, was Suicide Squad. So the only time that I've seen Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, it was from a YouTube short with Deathstroke.
Yeah.
And like he just like, it's like showing Deathstroke, and then it just turns around and slow pans to bring this bald man onto the screen. It scares me. It's not okay. Nicholas Hoult, he can pull off bald, which is great. His mannerisms, the way that he does acting for the role, and being smarmy and everything, he is perfect for that role. I have loved Nicholas Hoult ever since like the first like movie that like I truly recognized him in, which was The Menu. He is one of my favorite Hollywood actors right now, especially with like how he's been handling the whole like I don't know if you've like watched the press tour for them, where Nicholas Holt, where Nicholas, Rachel, and David are like all like getting interviewed together. But there's this like just running bit that like Nicholas is like in deep, deep love and affection for David, and so anytime that like Rachel pops up to like be in an interview with them, she is like he's just like glaring at her the whole time because she's getting in between him and David.
That's hilarious.
But the one part that I just still can't get over for this, that like always like pulled me out every now and again when I like became aware of it. I don't know, man. His eyebrows are just so big. They're just very, very like there, right? It's and
They
like
are, yeah.
It's like the back end. I was expecting them to be like a bit thinner, but like it's like two very active caterpillars on his face, and like it's probably having to do with the fact that there's just no hair anywhere else. Because like looking at like pictures or seeing interviews where he has hair, I can't pay attention to the eyebrows at all. It's fine. Without hair there, that's all that's there. It's like when he's shouting 1A, I can like imagine that the eyebrows are like one eyebrow's 1 and the other's A. Like every single time.
I thought his Lex was good. Like you said, we did an episode on the menu, which he was one of the characters, or he was like one of the main cast in the menu.
He is the reason why Anya Taylor-Joy's character actually ended up on the island.
Yes. Ironically, both Marvel characters right there. But he was in Jack the Giant. Like, I remember him from like being a kid because, of course, he was an X-Men. Like, he played Young Beast. He was Jack in Jack the Giant Slayer. He was also the main character of Warm Bodies, which I forgot was the thing.
Oh my god!
And then he was one of the like psychos or like crazy guys in Mad Max. And then another an underrated film that I remember watching before, The Banker. If you've ever heard of it, it's actually Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson are the two main characters in it.
I thought you were going to bring up the fact that he was John Arbuckle in Chris Pratt's The Garfield movie.
Yes, that as well. I was going to get there, but The Banker is a really great movie, and he's in it along with Jesse T. Usher, who, if you don't remember, is in The Boys. He's fucking A-Train. But he's in a lot of great things. Like, I think he is one of the... I wouldn't have said it before. He's also fucking like King Charles in The Great or something. He's some posh old king. But I don't think it's Charles, but he's an A-lister. I don't think I was comfortable saying it before when he was in X-Men only. Like the only thing I knew him from was X-Men. But I definitely think he's like a hot hit in Hollywood right now. But let's talk about our guy, and then kind of talk about some scenes within the movie. Cornswet, Mr. David, our new Superman. How did you feel about him in this movie, both as Clark Kent and Superman and Kal-El? How did you feel about him altogether? Give me your opinions of him.
I think he's doing important stuff. He
Yeah.
It's my favorite line. I loved him. Oh my god.
He looks the role.
This is the happiest that I've felt about seeing somebody take up the mantle of Superman since Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Christopher Reeve Superman movies religiously when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I adore Superman as a character, and I've just not really felt that attached to like any Superman since then.
Hmm.
I've started seeing some clips about like, um, oh, what's that show connected to the CW where he has kids? Superman and Lois? Is that it?
Yes.
No, that's with the really buff one.
No, no, no,
Is
no,
it?
no. It is
No,
I think it is Superman
that's
and
Superman and
Lois.
Lois.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
Okay,
there's like there's
he's great.
yeah.
Um, but like, I don't know, man. Something about this. Maybe it's the trunks. It just this felt like Superman, and this felt like a young Superman. I love that we keep getting these stories now where it's year two versions or like year three or year four
Yeah.
of these heroes.
Novice.
Um, and it's novice stuff. It's not them at their peak. Um, it's not them just finding themselves. It's them figuring it out and at times floundering and failing. Because
Yes. Which
failing is so much more
Superman
interesting and important than just being perfect all the time.
Superman only succeeded at the end of this movie, and it was with multiple. It was varied because of the amount of casualties, but he did succeed in the end. But throughout the entire movie, was seeing him just fall and fall and fall. But he always got back
Yeah,
up.
his
Never
whole
stayed down.
world just shattered.
Quite literally, Metropolis was in two pieces.
Yeah,
Um, I think I am hopeful for Cornswick in the future, or Cornswit. I think it was great. He looks like Superman. He felt like Superman.
before looking up his name for this, I didn't know that there was I didn't realize that there was an E or like two E's in his name. So I always thought his last name was Corn Sweat. I was like, huh,
Oh,
he is a farmer's child.
he was raised in Kansas. Look at that. But I did really like him. The dad scene, like when he was talking to his dad. Just
Oh,
the Gunn did a really great job with crafting this character because this is based. I know we talked about this before when this movie was originally announced.
it
He
is
took a
based.
lot. He took a lot out of this from All Star Superman, written by Grant Morrison, and you can feel it with the way that he humanizes and characterizes this version of Superman. He didn't feel. Sometimes Superman can be written so above everybody else where he doesn't feel like a grounded enough character to be relatable. And that's my biggest problem with Superman, especially in modern comics, is we care too much about Superman the superhero and the idea, right? But we
Yeah,
don't focus too much on Clark Kent, Kal-El, the character beneath the suit. And this movie made me care so much about Superman. The most I've probably ever cared about him ever in my entire life. Um, and
I love that they kept that he likes the Mighty Crabjoys. That he's just punk rock.
yes. So he felt human. When they brought him back to his house, we saw his parents. He had
Oh my
the
god,
conversation with
his
his dad.
bedroom.
Yeah, it felt lived in. It felt
Yeah,
lived. It felt the only other time I have ever felt this passionate about Superman, and how human he felt and how much character he had, was when we followed him throughout his entire high school career into being Superman while watching Smallville. So like they Gunn did a good job with cramming fucking 5 or 6 seasons of what would normally be like televised into this 2 hour movie to make me feel for Superman. His room felt human, it felt great. His relationships with people, especially his parents, felt great. His talk with his dad, like, literally brought me to tears and tugged on my heartstrings because that is Superman. It is not a man who will who is above everybody because he is an alien or because he has these great superpowers. He is a man who can relate to the everyday person because of who he is and his upbringing. It is the humans that raised him that made Superman the way that he is, made him so charismatic, made him so thoughtful of a person. And despite him being an extraterrestrial, he can relate more than someone like Lex because of the life he was given. And it was encapsulated in this movie, and I loved it. And when I think back on this movie, it makes me think that I like it even more every time I talk about it, because the main character, Superman, like he brought it all together. They were all around, like every bit of the movie was based around him, and it felt so good because he felt so strong as a character. So, yeah, I have high hopes. I hope he does more. I hope he does more good. I did like Cavill. I think we talked about this before. I did like Cavill, but if at the sacrifice of Cavill not being Superman, I get this instead, I am okay with it. I think Cavill is a great actor, but I will wholeheartedly give Cornswick my seal of approval when it comes to being Superman because of this movie. Also, he knows the character. I've watched so many of his interviews for this movie, and the way he describes Superman, it hits it nail on the coffin. Like, nail in the coffin. Like, guy knows what he's talking about. He knows exactly what Superman is about. The explanation of the underpants is what sold me on him.
Oh, yeah. There's a great clip that you can see from one of the interviews where Nicholas Hoult is talking about, like, I think it might have been, like, the moment that, like, he truly started, like, seeing David as, like, Superman.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, like, with this movie, David's dealing with, like, a lot of stuff, because he's dealing with, you know, being in this role and whatnot and being away from his family. His wife, like, just gave birth.
Yes.
And Nicholas, like, talks about how there was a beautiful, beautiful day on set where, like, David was watching the kid, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't see him. You can just see, like, underneath, like, a curtain, you can see, like, a pair of feet in Superman's boots, and then the wheels and a bit of the legs of a stroller, mm-hmm. and it just being rocked back and forth, and Superman just taking care of his child.
Yeah.
While on set. It's just beautiful and perfect, and I can't wait to see him get the shit kicked out of him when Jason Momoa shows up as Lobo. I am so excited to see who else ends up showing up in the future. I have not felt this excited about comic book movies in so long.
Yes.
You know, speaking of Lobo, speaking of villains, did you like the other villains in the movie?
Okay. The engineer.
Largely, we only had two.
The engineer was so odd, and I could care. The engineer could have been Gizmo from Teen Titans, and I would have been more excited for Gizmo. Or it could have been anyone else. I just think that the engineer felt like a nothing character.
I kept seeing her and thinking, man, this is what I want a live action version of Ink to move like. She was cool, but I really didn't care about her either.
Yeah. And then
she did a great job. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. No. With what she was given, great. But I feel like the character was very one-dimensional. Now,
I don't know why she hated Superman. I don't think they ever explained it. And that's like, and you know, as much as like I harped on the fact that like it's great that they just trusted the fans, when you're gonna have somebody like hate someone, You should at least like give an inkling as to why outside of money.
Yeah. And then Ultraman was I caught it when I called it like when the trailers came out, when the set leaks came out.
I was
I
just
was
gonna
like,
be Bizarro instead.
well, no, I was just like, no, I was just like, oh, it's they're calling him Ultraman. He has the giant U. I was like, it's not going to be multi-dimensional things. I was just like, it's probably going to be a clone. And as the movie progressed
Yep.
and they kept showing him and his mannerisms, when they got into the Fortress of Solitude, I was just like, oh, he's just a clone. I was just like, you don't
Yeah.
have to explain it from there. You don't even have to explain that he was cloned. They could have just left it as like during the final fight. They could have just had him tear off the helmet and then them just stare at each other and then fight until he killed him like he did, or shoved him into the pocket
I
universe.
yeah. I honestly think that he's not dead. I think we are for sure gonna see this character again, and like they're gonna somehow either like Lex is gonna like die, like sent like create some kind of thing to like get in there and like get him out, or like he's gonna figure out some kind of way to get out, and then we're gonna see Bizarro from this. Because this would be like a great way to start setting it up and like have a reason as to like more outside of just like being trained and conditioned to hate Superman,
Mm-hmm.
as to why he actually wants to like fight Superman, or in a lot of cases for Bizarro, just be Superman because he is Superman.
Yeah,
This is the fake.
yeah. I think if they're gonna do it, I think the like a kind of like a cherry on top would be we already have Superboy, and he sees that he's replaced. So it's not just this hate
Mm.
towards not it's not just this hate towards Superman. It's kind of like a disdain for Lex, because a disdain for Lex and a disdain for Superboy because one, he was replaced, and two, this is who he replaced him with, right? A
Yeah.
another version of Superman, which really isn't technically him. It's more of like this weird brother son dynamic because of the genetic donation, right?
Mhm.
Um, so no, I definitely agree with that. Um, you know, we it's not like we haven't seen this before. We've seen that a couple other times. Like even Superboy has his odd clone match, which is just him, like a fully Kryptonian clone of Superman, technically, but was still a part of the same project that Superboy was. Um, yeah, no, I thought it was fine. He needed the muscle. Lex getting owned publicly. I've talked about this before with you and Aaron. I think that was the proper way to do it because, of course, nothing. You can't like Superman can't kill Lex, right? Like
No.
that's how you get the Justice Lords. But like, what he can do is ruin his public image, because what Lex Luthor is a narcissist, right? What
Yeah.
he isn't is a humble guy. So he will definitely his defeat physically didn't mean anything. Him getting beat up, him losing his stuff, he can just buy more. You know what I mean? But him
Yeah.
losing the public eye after discrediting Superman and it being 180'd on him was the perfect way to end that movie. Um, and it also gives me hope that this now really cements his hatred for Superman, because before it seemed very superficial, right? He had never met him up to this point. His interactions with him were very pseudo, right? It was always in the
Yeah.
media. It was always behind the scenes with the government and technically with his clone, right? But the fact that they've had a one-on-one confrontation, and he has actually beaten him, it gives me hope that the future of Holt's character is not like going extreme, but it's kind of like that line that animated Lex has where like he hates Superman, but he's still like Lex Luthor, right? Because sometimes he can be written where like that's just his character, right? Like I
Yeah.
hate Superman 24/7, but now like I think Hulk can play a good, like can ride the line very well with he is Lex Luthor. the guy who believes that he is actually the savior of humanity, but also fuck Superman.
Yeah.
So, being more of a pain in his side, less than, you know, jumping into the robot suit and fucking him up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Um, this movie looked great. All of the gripes I had with it went away when I actually saw it. Um, Even the CG, the pocket dimension looked cool. Um, Metamorpho stuff I thought looked cool. Um, Gunn has a history with working with like spectacular visual effects when it comes to the Guardians, so um, you know, I think he did really good there with the pocket dimension things. Um, and yeah, some of my favorite parts about this weren't even the Superman-esque stuff, right? I thought his sit down with his dad was amazing. His sit down with Lois and just affirming their relationship was great. Um, and him just realizing, how did you feel about the message from his birth parents?
Oh, with it getting changed into that
Yeah,
monstrosity.
like, do you think that that's gonna
I
stay?
I don't know. I really don't know.
And
Um,
do you think it's gonna stay?
I
And if it does stay and it's not some retcon, will you still like it?
I really like what they did with it, right?
Yeah,
And that he is more than the message that was intended. He is who he sets himself up to be,
yeah, exactly.
um,
Yeah,
and whatnot. I don't know if I want them to keep it for like the future, like other iterations of him.
yeah,
I'm really interested to see what they do with it now in this world that they have it set up. Because we very briefly saw it right at the end. Does Kara know?
yeah.
Right?
So that's like my thing, right? Is that Kara? He has an established relationship with her, right? Does she know about that? So it makes me feel like it's doctored, right? Like Lex doctored it. He just used the engineer's abilities to make sure that there wasn't any metadata that they could find that it was edited, right? Because if it's not, I have big problems with this, and people don't seem to have the same problems with it, at least that I've talked to, is that it kind of demonizes Lara and Jor-El, right?
It's true.
It makes them into these benevolent rulers that apparently the Kryptonians are, but the two examples that we have outside of them are Superman and his drunk cousin, right?
Yeah.
That don't
Uh,
seem like they are trying to rule the Earth. Like Laura doesn't seem like she's
do you
trying to rule the
think?
Earth.
Do you think they have that Lex would have technology to be able to do that? That could like get past Mr. Terrific?
Yeah, I have one big gripe with this movie, and it's just the whole like Mr. Terrific being like, oh, like
I'm
I
goddamn.
know those guys. Like they're the forensics guys. They don't make mistakes. Like that felt like a very hand wavy thing for them to do.
Yeah.
But like in reality, why are you trusting like why are we trusting anything from an alien, right? And then we're assuming that we can translate it, right? Like they made a language matrix and stuff like that from it. But it just felt very that whole part, right? Like I understand like the whole like Superman being more than what he being more about who he is instead of what he is. But this felt so out of left field to have in the movie. Like they could have easily had it where it's just like, you know, like the normal like holographic Jor-El that's in the Fortress of Solitude, and then it's just more of like, oh, well, we want you to be this and that, or we don't believe that being Superman from our perspective makes sense for you, son, but like that but then like Superman's just like, well, that's what I believe, hologram father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't think they'd have to take it that far, but um that's my only that was my only gripe with it. I hope it's retconned in the future, like in the next movie. It's just like, oh, Lex doctored to that footage. His parents aren't evil. Because it just feels so weird. We've never had a rendition of Kara of Lara and Jor-El like that ever. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I hope that we get Zod soon, so we can get confirmation on something like that. Because I feel like if we get Zod, that'll speak more onto it.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there.
um, but yeah, no.
I'm also excited to see Rhaenyra Targaryen as
Yeah,
Kara in the future. Like, out of full left field, great casting choice. She's gonna do great.
yes.
She's such a good actress.
Um, whatchamacallit? Uh, Will Reeves being in here. I thought that was great. That was kind of a nice nod. Him being in the movie. Um, but yeah, I really love this movie. I really love this movie. Um, if you're still listening and you haven't seen this movie, go see this movie because we spoiled some parts of it. We didn't really get into like major spoilers, but like the because everything felt like a like there wasn't like a big overarching like antagonistic for like there wasn't like a big main villain, right? Because like Lex was the main guy, but it was this like tactical fight and strategic downfall of Superman throughout the entire movie. Like it wasn't like there was like a big villain that they had to beat by the end of it. Like it was Lex, but I didn't like the idea that Lex would have gotten defeated and handcuffed and stuff like that. It didn't really cross my mind as something like it's not like it's like, oh, we got Thanos or like we have the Ironmonger or we have the Red Skull or something like that. You know, there's not like a definite when it came to Lex. There's never a definite when it comes to Lex because of how his character is. So, um, yeah, no. I really enjoyed the movie. I don't really have anything else to talk about the movie about. Um, so I'm if you want to give your closing thoughts, Vincent, then I'll do the same, and then we can end it out.
I thought Superman was fantastic. Say that again. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Um,
Say it 4 times.
I um I'm just glad that DC can do live action again. It it's been a long time where it felt like DC just couldn't figure out how to do it at all. They would like start doing something good and then it would like quickly drop off or like something would just go wrong like with like Arrow and like especially the Flash TV show for CW where it
Oh.
started out really good and then it turned into Power Rangers fighting each other. Um and only Marvel was able to do it. And now like the wheel has like the scales have shifted and now Marvel is like has heavily oversaturated and kind of lost itself a bit. And they're fixing it. Um but
Hopefully,
like
yeah.
DC really has a solid foothold here and has just been knocking it out of the park with every step that they make.
Yeah, I am excited. This was a great
It's
first movie.
it's rare for a superhero movie to make me cry.
Yes. Yeah, and no one died. That was another thing. No one died, and I cried. Like it wasn't like, oh, like
Well, oh
Yondu
yeah,
died.
no one's death caused your crying.
Yeah, like it's not like a,
Yeah,
like Yondu or like fucking AMA or something like that. Spoilers, but um, Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I'm hopeful for the rest. I'm hopeful for more. Um,
I hope we see Hot Girl drop somebody again after they tell her that she's Superman.
yeah, that was gruesome. That was
That
gruesome,
was
man.
awesome.
That was crazy. I didn't expect that honestly from that scene.
Nope.
Um,
Do I respect it? Hell yeah.
yeah, no, for sure. Um, but yeah, that's the episode. Thanks for listening. We're back. We'll be back with more. Hit us up on our social medias. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I am. Oh, what is my Blue Sky? I am Lying Mask on Blue Sky, and you are,
I'm Vincent Barlow.
and it is the Domestic BF podcast on Blue Sky as well. Shout out to Ultimate Maverick X for our art as always. We're we're happy that you guys joined us, and we'll see you next time.
Stay beautiful, everyone.